In a move that is almost certain to affect Latinos nationwide, the Trump administration earlier this week announced it will conclude operations for the U.S. Census 1 month earlier than previously scheduled. With about 40% of households nationwide yet to be counted, many feel the move will lead to an undercount among historically difficult to count populations, including people of color, immigrants, and residents of rural areas. Here is Democratic presumptive nominee Joe Biden yesterday during the virtual conference for the National Association of Latino Democratic Officials.
We've seen a lot of ups and downs in the Latino community, but none more stark than in the last 3.5 years. Donald Trump and his administration have pursued an all-out assault. That's how I phrase it, assault on Latino communities. From the moment he came down that golden escalator saying he was going to go after those Mexican rapists. Remember? That's how he started his campaign. It started the moment he announced his presidency, fanning the flames of fear and racism against Latinos. It's baked into every aspect of how he's governed.
And joining us now, host of yesterday's annual conference that featured the former vice president, Nalio CEO Arturo Vargas. Mr. Vargas, great to see you this morning. Let's talk first about the census. What are the implications of cutting short that count? Who doesn't get counted? Who doesn't get represented for the next decade?
Thank you. Well, first, just to correct the record, we're the National Association of Latino elected and appointed officials, where our membership and board is made up of Republicans, Democrats, and independents. Now, with regard to the census, the census is the foundation of our democracy. These are numbers we're going to live with for the next 10 years. It determines the apportionment of the House of Representatives, the distribution of $1.5 trillion every year, and then policymakers use these data to make key decisions, which they're using right now with regard to COVID-19. So if your numbers are wrong, the distribution of political power, of money, and your decisions are wrong.
Obviously, the census is very important for representation, and it does affect everything that happens going forward as far as money into districts. But something a little more immediate is this election coming up in November. And since we haven't seen such a positive or big response because of COVID-19 to the census, are you worried that we're not going to see the same kind of response for the general election in November?
Well, we have seen polls where there is a diminishing enthusiasm among Latino voters to participate in the November election because they're undergoing so many stresses because of the COVID-19. Latinos are experiencing record and disproportionate rates of infection, of death, and the economic consequences have been devastating. So we need a real campaign that's going to focus on getting folks to fill out their census forms. We need to get rid of political interference in the census, and we need to make sure that everybody is able to vote either by mail or safely in person and feel that they can actually do that without getting infected.
You say you need a real campaign. What does that real campaign look like?
Well, I think the Census Bureau needs to redo its paid advertising campaign to meet the American public where it is. Not enough there's too much of this feel-good civic duty type of messaging when people are experiencing real crisis. And I think the Census Bureau needs to speak to people about where they are and how important filling out that form right now, even though you may be sheltering in place or you're an essential worker, you're trying to feed your family and you're risking your life to do so, how important filling out that form is. We don't get that kind of messaging from the Census Bureau.
Yeah, do you fear that the presidential candidates, Donald Trump for his unobvious reasons and Joe Biden for less obvious reasons, are not inspiring enough to Latino voters that that's actually driving down the vote? Or does Joe Biden have a chance to inspire Hispanic voters in a way that some past Democratic candidates have?
This isn't the first time we've had two elderly white men running for president of the United States. That's not new. What is new is the circumstances in which we find ourselves right now. We need both candidates, both political parties, both campaigns to campaign for the Latino vote in all 50 states. We have too often have seen the Latino vote taken for granted by both political parties. We estimate that there are at least 14.6 million Latino voters that will turn out for the polls in November, a historic number. and they can make a decisive difference in key states across the country. But we have to engage them. The campaigns have to engage them so that they turn out in November.
All right, CEO of the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials, Arturo Vargas, thank you so much for being with us. And Willie and I want to thank all of you for watching the show. And Willie, I guarantee you this weekend I will continue, even though we have a pandemic. I'm going to be going to Azerbaijan, and I'm going to be getting the right type of Mentos, and other rare minerals for our science experiment. This is the year. This is the year we win the Nobel Prize unanimously. Right?
I think so.
Is that not how we end this show? Come on.
We've had it snatched away from us for too long, and I think this is our year. I don't know why you have to go all the way to Azerbaijan for the Mentos, but I don't question the methods of a scientific genius, Joe. So you get to work, you get on that plane, and I'll see you on Monday. That does it for us this morning. Stephanie Rule picks up the coverage right after a break.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.